playoffs to potentially being the contender. And so this decision is as impactful as anything that's happened in the NBA this year.
Brian Windhorst on First Take. The Bucks host the Wizards tonight in Milwaukee. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Chris Middleton are both out. Giannis with a sore right knee, Middleton with a sore left wrist. The NCAA hockey tournament is underway today. In the first game, Minnesota State beats Harvard 4-3. The tournament continues all day on ESPNU.
How would you love a chance to save some money on car insurance? Geico can help. Switch today and see all the ways you could save with great rates and discounts. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com to get a rate quote and get started seeing how much you could save.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, two men, one journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We are always in the Ingles Studio here on ESPN Asheville, and the whole show. The whole shebang brought to you by Ingles. Low prices, love the savings. We can now be seen today on the YouTube stream. We got some of the bugs fixed, all that ironed out. We can continue with our most overrated bands bracket. We'll be putting up the poll here shortly in the chat box. If you want to get involved in the program, the easiest way, just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on the live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and that'll get you into the chat. And you can cast your vote today as we've got the Beatles.
Go ahead and start over because you're not on the air.
Well, welcome into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. I'm Tank Spencer. Jeremy Greene is alongside. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app and now seen everywhere on the YouTube stream, thesportsocracy.com. Click on the live video link and do not forget to hit that subscribe button so you can get into the chat. The easiest way to get in touch with us immediately. Plus, today you're going to be able to cast your vote for the most overrated bands bracket. We are still in the Sweet 16 here. We're now on the right side of the bracket with the Beatles going up against the Dixie Chicks.
This one's not even difficult to me.
It's Dixie Chicks all the way, right?
Not even kind of.
Your Beatles hatred continues to baffle me, but you can vote today all throughout the program. So there is that. We will talk some basketball. We got the NCAA tournament starting back up again, the Sweet 16 tonight. 4 games tonight, and tomorrow night we got the North Carolina Tar Heels in action. So it is, of course, a Thursday, 4 o'clock. We're going to talk to Jones Angell, the voice of the North Carolina Tar Heels, who's going to get us all set for the big showdown with UCLA coming up tomorrow night. You'll hear that right here on ESPN Asheville. We also, of course, will be recapping the maddening game that was the Baylor game in the round of 32. We'll give you our best bets for the Sweet 16 as well. Coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, talk about who's left out there in free agency. Yes, if you're listening to the top of the hour Sports Center update, there's a new development in the Deshaun Watson situation, and to me, the number one story of the day is we're done, right? We've got our last big hurdle, at least as it comes to the continental United States, as far as it goes with the coronavirus issues.
So, I mean, if New York's done with it, I think we can all universally say, and it is decided.
See, that's what I'm thinking, but you still got Canada. You've got Canada.
Canada's borderline done. Toronto has fans in the crowd tonight.
But they've opened up the border and everything, and unvaccinated guys can go back and forth. See, that's the thing.
Do I look political? No, I can tell you there's fans in the crowd tonight. And there's a specific reason that I can tell you that, and you'll find that out later on the show.
Right. We'll have Jeremy's picks of the night coming up later on in the program. And did you get a game right last night?
Yeah, I was 1-3 last night.
1-3 last night. Okay. Everyone.
The Miami Heat were so agitated at each other they started fighting each other.
That's right. But the big news out of New York today is that the mayor up there has given an exemption to all performers and players for New York franchises that they can now be unvaccinated and play at home. So the NBA world just all crazy because Kyrie Irving coming back, full-time player now, going to make his season debut at home coming up on Sunday against the Charlotte Hornets, which I don't like that. I don't like that a lot, seeing as how the Charlotte Hornets struggle to play defense. And the one thing that the Brooklyn Nets do very, very well is score the basketball, as was on display in their last game. Didn't Kyrie and KD combine for like 80 points last night? Something like that?
They did. There's only one problem. They got smoked like a honey ham. That's the thing I don't understand, why this is such a big deal to people. Kyrie Irving being able to play at home does not change anything about the prognosis of the Nets. He's still been playing on the road. Mm-hmm. Played last night. Mm-hmm. Was real good last night.
Yep.
And without Ja Morant, the Grizzlies smoked them. And there's a very simple reason why. They couldn't defend the chair I'm sitting in. Mm-hmm. It changes nothing. Okay, so you'll go into the playoffs. I'm just looking at the standings as they sit right now. As of right now, they would be the 8. I'm going to say that's not going to continue. They probably wind up somewhere in the neighborhood of the 5. Because I would say they're better than the Bulls now, they're better than the Cavaliers, and I would say they're better than the Raptors.
Okay.
So you'll avoid the play-in. You have to play the Celtics. I don't like the chances of you going into Boston and winning at all. I don't think you can beat Boston. But even if you did, you would still have to go through the Heat on the road, the 76ers on the road, and by on the road, I mean they have home court advantage. Mm-hmm. You're not going to do it. I don't care. Woo!
Best case,
the coronavirus was not what was keeping them from an NBA title anyway.
Best case scenario for the Brooklyn Nets:
go to the Eastern Conference Finals and get dusted like a old piece of furniture by the Philadelphia 76ers.
Right. I still feel like that it doesn't change the hierarchy of the Eastern Conference, because to me it all still rolls through James Harden and Joel Embiid. Mm-hmm. It's I'm not the NBA historian, but I have to imagine this is like one of the best mid-season pickups in NBA history.
It's certainly up there. I can't tell you it's the best one in NBA history, but it's very high.
Yeah. There's just something that works really, really well with that team.
Yeah. You got a player around Joel Embiid that can shoot. Good for you. I'm glad it took you 4 years to figure that out. But, I mean, to me, this changes nothing. Mm-hmm. Looking at the East now, I would still take the Heat over them because you're going to have Jimmy Butler on Kevin Durant, Kyle Lowry on Kyrie Irving. Advantage Heat, because I have no idea how you're going to stop Bam Adebayo. Mm-hmm. Last night notwithstanding, last night was an aberration. You were asking, did you get one right? Yeah, well, I got news for you. I don't think many people would have been on the side of Miami getting destroyed by that Warriors team. It's the fun of the NBA. It makes it absolutely infuriating to wager on.
It does, but Jeremy's best bets of the night coming up. And the Greene on Greene at the end of this hour, and then, of course, in the 5 on it in the 4 o'clock hour. But, the big news today, New York City Mayor Eric Adams announcing this exemption for the home players. They'll be able to play unvaccinated. And that not only translates to, obviously, Kyrie Irving being able to play at home in Brooklyn, but also to the baseball side, to the New York Yankees, to the New York Mets. He was actually at the Mets stadium today making the announcement that, and saying the 3 words that I've wanted to hear somebody, higher up in one of these giant cities say for a long time. We are here. We are here for the end of all of this. It has been the longest, most arduous 2-year road in sports history, and I'm thankful that we are here. So thank you to the New York mayor for making that announcement. Didn't make us wait too long, though.
Oh, yeah. We are going to have to wait their turn.
Yeah, 2 days later.
Yeah, your turn came up quickly.
Exactly. So we are here, we are past it, and we are moving on. Does it change the makeup of the Eastern Conference or the destiny that is to be the Eastern Conference in the playoffs? I don't really think so. I've never thought that the Brooklyn Nets were the favorite.
Oh, they're certainly not the favorite. And Vegas is just stealing money from people. I haven't looked to see what the number's done today, but I am sure it's moved. And it makes absolutely no sense.
Mm-hmm.
I love that when you can't play at home turned into, well, this just changes everything. No, it doesn't. You're still in the same better than average boat.
Mm-hmm.
I would still take Milwaukee over them. I would obviously take Philadelphia over them. I'd take Miami over them.
Agreed.
And I think them and Boston would play dead up 7-game series.
Yeah.
Toss up as to who wins in Game 7.
Yeah.
It's in Boston, so I would lean Boston.
The media types are just swayed by the star power. The star power of the names is what makes all of this, makes all of this run, makes all of this more interesting. Kyrie Irving, KD. You can't deny, and I'm not trying to deny those guys anything. They're amazing NBA basketball players. But together, there's just something about that just does not work.
Yeah, nobody plays any defense.
And they're never going to get Ben Simmons back, I don't think.
I don't care if they do. He still can't shoot.
Right. I mean, you got 7 games left in the regular season, and we're still waiting for any sign that Ben Simmons is going to be back. And I've heard nothing. It's been complete crickets as far as I know.
Everything I've heard is he should be ready sometime during the playoffs. No timetable, nothing. And with Ben Simmons, I'm not even vaguely surprised by that.
If he comes back and joins them midstream in the playoffs, do you like him a little better?
Now you're better than Boston. That's the only, and that's even fractionally.
Mm-hmm.
That would give you somebody to put on. That would give you somebody to put on Jason Tatum, which would obviously be advantageous.
Right.
But Jaylen Brown would destroy you.
No. Now we're almost to the stage of the NBA playoffs. Like I said, I think I heard last night during the Hornets game that there were 7 games left in the regular season. Next one coming up on Sunday as the Hornets will be in Brooklyn to take on Kyrie and the rest of the Brooklyn Nets in his home debut. The other big story of the day coming out of the NFL, and the Cleveland Browns might be in a tight spot here because apparently there is a second grand jury now that is looking at a new charge of sexual assault against Deshaun Watson.
Which they knew going in. This is, man, it must be a slow news day Thursday because they already knew that.
Yeah.
And if they had any fear that something was going to come of that, this wouldn't have happened.
Well, I think part of that, I mean, does part of that not play into the fact that they gave him the $1 million base salary for the year, just in case he missed it?
I want to talk about that because I have listened to 4 different talking heads that do what we do, who basically might as well been wearing T-shirts that said, I don't understand how the salary cap works.
Okay.
What did that play into it? Absolutely. It absolutely did. If you guarantee $230 million, I would wager his base salary's never going to be much because then you can play with the numbers. You can make this whatever you want to. That this was the Cleveland Browns circumventing the salary cap, and they should be embarrassed. I'm verbatim repeating words I've heard about this.
Really?
They should be embarrassed, and the NFL should fine them, and blah, 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 blah. You could have just screamed, I don't understand how the salary cap works, and been done. Just walked away. And some of them have national shows, which literally makes blood pool in my ears, and I can feel it pressing against one of my headphones.
Apparently, this new case is going before a grand jury. We don't know anything about it. Again, we're not lawyers. We're not involved in the cases. We're not doing the investigation. It just, it sprung up on the populace today as it started hitting the major news wires. And there's a lot of this reaction going on. Oh, yeah, see, the Cleveland Browns, they really did their due diligence, didn't they?
Yeah, havoc in our YouTube stream comments. When you make really, really smart observations, you don't even have to super chat them. I'll just and repeat them. How do people forget the security teams that every NFL team has? I have no idea. I ask that question no less than 10 times a year. Let me tell you a little secret about how the back channels of this work. I am a low-level draft scout that does things for a bunch of different websites and obviously the stuff we do. I have a guy that used to work for the FBI. I do. On speed dial, and he answers every single time I call. What do you think he does with the Cleveland Browns?
Right.
Of course they knew this. Of course they knew. It also makes me laugh that, how do you think they assemble grand juries? Like, just, everybody get together right now. He got traded. We must do this now. So ridiculous. Now, the merits of it, I have no idea. As you said, not a lawyer, not a cop.
Right.
I have no idea. But they're obviously comfortable with it. Because you want to talk about the greatest egg on your face decision in the NFL history. If he actually were to face criminal charges, which would then merit him being suspended by the league, because that's how that's written. All right, so now you're going to miss him for half a year at the minimum. That would be the biggest disaster in NFL history. Might be the biggest disaster in sports history.
And I think that had it been any other team than the Cleveland Browns, people wouldn't have this concern.
No, they would.
They would completely think that, yeah, they did their due diligence. But because it's the Cleveland Browns, they think, nah, they're running a shoddy organization.
Which whatever. They're not.
No, they're not. It's a completely different ball game in Cleveland now. But I have thought it is, hilarious that people are, one, surprised that the Cleveland Browns had, private investigators hired to go search into all this. Well, of course they did. $230 million guaranteed and 3 first-round draft picks and all the things that you gave up. Yeah, I'm going to protect that investment.
Let me, just to take this one step further.
Okay.
This is not the same person I was just referring to. This is a story I know intimately from the organization that I very closely follow. Do you remember when Florida State had the Peter Warrick Lavernius Coles issue, where they got clothing from Dillard's, the NCAA found out, and Peter Warrick wound up playing in the national title game, but Lavernius Coles didn't. Well, the Jets wound up drafting Lavernius Coles. Let me tell you the depths that they went to character eval him. They interviewed his middle school girlfriend. They dated when he was in the 7th grade.
Right.
They hadn't spoken since he was a freshman in high school. They flew to talk to her.
Right.
I promise you they knew.
But why didn't they reach out to the attorney of all these women?
I couldn't tell you if they did.
Well, that's the claim. The claim is that from the attorney of the women, they never called.
Well, if
you're
to a grand jury, basically all of the fact-finding would come from the prosecution.
That's what I would think.
Or his defense attorney. It's called discovery. I don't know if you've never watched Blue Bloods or any other true crime show that you get inundated with.
Right. The way that people's minds work, you can't think this through. Like, obviously, if there was going to be something about this, do you think that the Cleveland Browns for a single second would want people to know that they were considering making this move? Which he would have told. The lawyer would have told the public.
That's not how that goes.
Really?
No, that's not how that goes. Have you ever heard of a thing called lawyer-client confidentiality for them to release it? Because it would be Deshaun's lawyer that released it, not the defense attorney. One side can't have information the other one doesn't. That's not how this works. He would have to tell them, yeah, you can release this information to them. It's not like he's going to be sitting outside the prosecutor's office like, hey, would you like to talk to me? Two things people don't really seem to understand: the NFL salary cap and how the legal system works.
No, that's fine. We're on, we're all on Facebook now. We all have our legal degrees.
Yep, fact finding.
We all know how it works.
We got fact checkers on Facebook. That's plenty.
Yeah, That's all you need these days.
On
right?
radio, you couldn't see this if you're watching our YouTube stream. I literally think I just Undertaker rolled my eyes in the back of my head.
He did. It was quite impressive. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Clear tonight, winds will diminish and the overnight low will dip down to 37. Clouds will spread in through Friday afternoon and there will be a slight chance for a shower popping up with a high of 56. Still the chance for rain on Friday night with a low of 37. And then a clearing trend will take place into the afternoon on Saturday with gusty winds and cooler air settling in. The high should hit 50 degrees, mostly sunny to wrap up the weekend on Sunday with a high once again in the low 50s. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's Breakfast. The number one pick is in. Wendy's Breakfast, the official breakfast of March Madness. Choose your starting lineup, like the Breakfast Baconator or Honey Butter Chicken Biscuit, and enjoy oven-baked bacon, fresh cracked eggs, seasoned breakfast potatoes, and Simply OJ. Choose wisely, choose Wendy's.
Your favorite radio station. Yeah, this one right here. And thousands more just like it are streaming on the free iHeartRadio app. And now you can talk to them with a single tap. Play any iHeartRadio station and tap the talkback mic on the screen to send your message in seconds. Ooh, and it's True Crime Week. Check our dangerously good lineup, including the new iHeart original podcast, What Happened to Sally Beale. Download the free iHeartRadio app today and discover music, radio, and podcasts you'll love.
iHeartRadio.
QC Kinetics provided amazing pain relief for a former professional baseball player, and you have access to the same life-changing treatments as retired Braves pitcher Jose Alvarez.
I put a lot of stress and strain and work on my right arm, but my right elbow took most of the damage with 3 surgeries.
Arthritis developed, and the pain was unbearable.
It wasn't just pain when I was trying to play sports. It was anytime I was moving the right elbow. It was pretty excruciating at times.
That's when Jose discovered QC Kinetics and the regenerative treatments that help the body heal itself, restoring damaged tissue and providing relief with no surgery or downtime. Jose's message to the medical professionals at QC Kinetics?
My elbow is feeling outstanding. Where were you 10 years ago, for crying out loud?
QC Kinetics is right here. Call for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 826-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517.
The Food City Dirt Race is back at Bristol in 2022, and this time it's a night race. 7 p.m. on Easter Sunday, April 17th. Save big by grabbing a weekend package today at BristolMotorspeedway.com.
It's Bristol, baby!
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers with Windows 11 Pro and get an easy start to your workday. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
The underdog, the long shot, the nobody from nowhere, never gonna happen 100 to 1 shot. We know something about that. We're with you every step of the way.
This week at Ingles, select 6 to 12 count Laurel and Cuddly soft bath tissue, $3.98 each. Select sizes and varieties Kellogg's Frosted Flakes or Fruit Loop cereal, 2 for $4. And select sizes and varieties Tide laundry detergent, $12.98 each. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
And welcome back in to the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, live from the Ingles Studio. And we've got the overrated bands bracket Sweet 16 matchup of the day in the comments on the YouTube stream. Remember, go to thesportsocracy.com, click on the live video link, subscribe to the channel. You too can vote in the poll today. Is it the Beatles more overrated? Not a chance.
By quite a deal.
You're an idiot.
Quite a great deal.
or the Dixie Chicks.
I think people struggle with the word overrated. How is a band you have not heard from in 10 years overrated?
Oh, that's not true. They've got a new album out.
Which is available at what? Dollar General? You can buy that at your local flea market? I mean, I don't claim to be all up on what the kids do nowadays. I got mock drafts to put out. You asked me about, by the way, I have to say this.
Yeah?
I have to take my victory lap. Because we had a series of people say, you're a moron when you said Trayvon Walker's going 1 to the Jaguars. Yeah. Who'd they just schedule a private workout with?
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed that every mock draft you see now either has him going 1 or 2? I don't pull these things out of my own hat. Like, I'm just going to guess.
I don't think I've seen him any lower than 5 in a mock draft in the last few days.
5. He will not go. He will go ahead of Kayvon Thibodeau. I will bet you anything you want.
Mm-hmm.
Anything. Short of he decides to cut his own hand off in the next month, he will go ahead of Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah.
Because I think Kayvon Thibodeau was answering questions in a way that not exactly what you should do at a job interview from what I have been told.
Yeesh. Vote right now in the most overrated bands bracket Sweet 16 matchup. We get the Beatles, 58% to the Dixie Chicks, 42%.
Winning.
Oh, my gosh. You're all wrong. I don't know how this is so hard for you. I come from a biased standpoint, though. I was raised on Beatles music, and there is no greater band in the history of music than the Beatles.
And there's why they're the winner. You literally just laid out the case of here's why you should go to youtube.com, click on our little beer mug logo, and vote for the Beatles.
Greatest band of all time. And it's not even relatively close. Vote now at thesportsocracy.com. Now, Jeremy, we've got a lot of things have been going on in free agency. Nothing popping off today. Obviously, that's why we led the show with Kyrie Irving. That's the big news of the day. But finally, a day to kind of catch your breath on the offseason that has been. And I'm seeing a lot of these, a lot of the media talking heads and writers out there trying to make sense of what has happened in free agency. Do you still have no clear overall winner?
Oh, no, the clear winner is the Chargers. That's never stopped being the case.
Oh, okay.
Since day one of free agency, they were the winner. I don't care if they signed me for $10 million. You still win. J.C. Jackson, Khalil Mack, winner. Mm-hmm. The Dolphins are up there. There's a series of teams that have done really well.
Right.
Now, if you want to know why I was so hard on the Miami Dolphins, at 5 o'clock today, in the spot where our happy hour would usually be, will be the beginning of the AFC West mock drafts, and you can see what the Kansas City Chiefs would get if I was their GM. And it's a lot.
It is a lot. It is so much that it makes you look at it and go, I hate the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, because there's two kinds of teams in the NFL. There are teams that have a base nucleus set, which basically is the quarterback and every player around them that's on a rookie deal. Everything else is just discretionary parts.
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek Hill goes away. Okay, I promise you they'll find a way to replace him. It's not going to be Juju Smith-Schuster and Josh Gordon.
Agreed. But this team is going to reload. They're going to continue to be at the top of the AFC, despite the fact that they don't have a splashy offseason move to make. You got 12 picks coming up in this 2022 NFL draft because of the trade with Tyreek Hill. I see them as a clear winner in that scenario. And I know there are people who will disagree and say,
I don't think there's a loser. But you have to look at the dynamic between the two teams. Rob Johnson just asked in the comments, why were my Jets even considering that? For the same reason the Dolphins were. Because if you don't have an elite quarterback, you better have elite things around him.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think the Dolphins were losers. I just don't think it's going to do what everybody else does. I don't lose my mind on a receiver. It's one thing when it's a receiver that's the best receiver in the NFL, that's playing beside the best slot receiver in the NFL, that's playing beside the best tight end in the NFL and has a top 12 quarterback. That's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is Tua Tagovailoa? Okay. That gives him the best chance to succeed. It also puts a timer on him.
Oh, no
That's
doubt.
an expiration date.
Mm-hmm.
Tua's now a carton of milk. If you don't consume it by this date, it's bad.
So it has another 10 months to prove itself,
Mm-hmm.
like I said yesterday. You got time to prove yourself, or else you may become next year's Baker Mayfield. Find yourself without a home, and nobody wants you.
Of which I think Baker Mayfield is like one day away from asking if he can be a PA on this show, because nobody wants you.
I feel pretty certain he would have a better fallback plan.
I'm not as sure of that.
You don't think so?
There's a lot of people that think he will have free agency interest. I keep hearing Pittsburgh. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
To be the backup to Mitch Trubisky?
He's not going to be a backup anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
If he's not the clear-cut starter, you're not bringing him in. Because he falls into that. There are wackadoodles that do not understand he is not good at this game that will scream from the rooftops no matter what happens that you would be in a better shape if he was the starter. He would be nowhere near a rookie. This is not Sam Darnold who can sit behind Kenny Pickett or start in place of him, whatever the case may be, for a year.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the same scenario. This is Cam Newton 2.0. There is 10% of your fan base that does not understand that he is not good at this game, in spite of all of the things that have told you differently.
I'm still at Seattle. That's the one that makes the most sense. But the only way that deal's getting done is if Cleveland's going to pay his salary or just cut him, which they would still have to pay the salary. But there can be a deal worked out there. But just like the Carolina Panthers, I feel like there would be a little tiny bit of interest if the money wasn't the problem.
Less than zero. If he was free, it would be less than zero.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Let's get just a bit outside.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
All right, I'm going to go back to the UFC well for this one. We told you the story about Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington. Jorge Masvidal breaking one of Colby Covington's teeth outside of a Miami restaurant the other night. Now other UFC fighters are weighing in on this, and a guy who, I value his opinion to some great degree in UFC circles. Khabib Nurmagomedov has weighed in, and he says that Colby Covington needs to be blacklisted now, which might cause some concern for you, thinking, wait a minute, wasn't it Jorge Masvidal that attacked Colby Covington? Yes, but the reason Nurmagomedov wants him to be blacklisted and for all fighters in his weight class to reject fights with him because he brought the kids into it. He started talking about Jorge Masvidal's kids and calling him a deadbeat dad and all of that, and that's what sparked Jorge Masvidal's ire, saying that I'm going to catch you on the streets of Miami, you just wait. He did, and he made him pay for it. And he says he'll do it again, which is hilarious to me. Like, I feel like if you let that out and you tell the cops that, then there's something they could do to
what are they going to do?
detain you, detain you a little more at that point or something. He is not in jail. He surrendered to authorities last night, did Jorge Masvidal. He is out on bail, and he is going to be facing charges for the attack. But Nurmagomedov says everybody needs to just turn down fights with him.
Well, that's not going to happen.
No.
Now, do I think he got what he deserved for bringing the kiddos into it? A little bit, yeah.
Pretty much. And then, of course, Conor McGregor fires back and says, he could just move weight classes because he's not a fatty Fatterson like you are, which I feel like... Should you really be throwing shade at Khabib Nurmagomedov if you're Conor McGregor after that fight? It's not going to anyway. And saw where he was in trouble again today.
Yeah, because he can't drive.
No, reckless driving.
I will never understand how people with that much money get arrested for traffic violations. Why do you not just turn your driver's license in? Here, somebody drives me everywhere I go.
Right.
I pay him a lot to just, hey, I have 8 cocktails with dinner and I want to go out. You're up.
Yep. Driver, please. Especially for the guy who was the world's richest athlete last year. He made more money last year than any other athlete, which I still don't kind of understand because Conor McGregor, I mean, I know he has other business interests, but it's not like he was fighting to earn all of that money last
proper
year.
number 12 probably did just fine by it.
Absolutely.
I am a well-known Jets fan, which means I am a Patriot hater. But when you do things that deserve your flowers, I will happily give them to you. Providence head coach Ed Cooley is a huge New England Patriots fan. And now he has another reason to support his favorite NFL team. Robert Kraft gave Providence the Patriots team plane to fly to their Sweet 16 regional, which that sounds cool until you realize why that's so cool. They get to bring all the boosters.
Yeah.
So this is funded. They asked for $0. I don't even know if they had to pay for the gas in it.
Right.
It doesn't say that in the story.
I doubt it.
They put everybody on the plane. Ed Cooley was quoted as saying, it's New England teams supporting New England teams. Our families are able to come. Our donors are able to come. Our supporters are able to come. I really appreciate him looking out for us, given how many planes are being used for the NIT and the NCAA tournament. It was just limited.
Excellent.
I never thought of that.
Yeah.
There's only so many charter planes. And now you've got so many things that are happening that they become much more expensive, and they're in high demand.
Yeah.
So good for Robert Kraft.
Absolutely. It's finally a good story for Robert Kraft.
He took a break from haunting my nightmares. Thanks.
And, of course, supporting the Providence Friars, always going to be it's always going to be a plus mark in my book. Love those guys. Ed Cooley. He deserves to win a national championship at some point, but I just don't know if he's ever going to be able to do it.
Because I
don't think he's ever going to leave Providence. I heard that discussion happening last week while they were playing in the tournament. They were talking about, Ed Cooley. Why hasn't he gotten the big job?
Well, he's been a candidate for them multiple times. He pulls his name out.
It's because he doesn't want it. Because he has such a good thing going at Providence, and seeing the videos and stuff of him going around the Providence campus and talking to everybody from, everybody from the dean on down to the guy who's emptying the trash cans in the cafeteria. He just loves where he's at. All that private school money, he's got enough. He's got everything he needs while he's there. Looking at NFL free agency, who's next? That's my question. What's the next big impact move coming?
Bobby Wagner's a big domino to fall.
I saw where he was visiting with the LA Rams, which, gosh.
I think it's down to the Rams, the Chargers, and the Cowboys. I was down to the Rams and the Chargers, but the Cowboys seem to just be hanging around.
Mm-hmm.
And usually when that happens, there's a reason why.
Don't they have enough linebackers already?
No. Bobby Wagner's one of those players, we find a spot.
We'll find a spot for you.
Other than that, you still got Stephon Gilmore, of which from everything I've been told, that's been down to 2 teams for as long as I can remember.
Las Vegas?
It's the Raiders and the Bengals.
Okay.
I hope it's you know what? I don't even care. Either one. I love our Raider fan friends. I love our Bengal fan friends.
I think I'd rather see him with Las Vegas.
I probably would too, because they don't have any draft capital. Cincinnati can do things in the draft.
Right. Las Vegas is in a position where their options are limited. They only have 5 picks in the entire draft. First one's not even until the 3rd round. And by that point, all the really good corners are going to be gone. And you can get developmental pieces here and there. No question. But Las Vegas needs somebody to come in and play right away. Stephon Gilmore would do that for them.
Tyrann Mathieu is also still a really big piece. And that has just gone death silent. No real talk of where he's going. I thought it was Pittsburgh. And that's quieted down now. But this is usually how free agency works. You'll have that first really intense week, and then it just slows down to a snail's pace. And as soon as the pieces start falling off, it ramps up.
Well, yeah, because everybody strikes while the iron's hot. You get the best deals out of the way, and then now it's just, what are you willing to, I don't know if settle for is the right way to say it,
But that's probably the right way to say it.
But like, the Indianapolis Colts, I still look at them and go, you still have all this money, and you haven't made any giant moves yet.
Oh, I would be on the phone with Dwayne Brown right now.
Mm-hmm.
With Matt Ryan back behind that line, I don't really care if it's Eric Fisher or Dwayne Brown. I've seen Dwayne Brown stay healthy for more than 3 consecutive weeks, so that would probably be my choice.
Fair enough, but, I mean, you also have impact wide receivers that are out there. I mean, Jarvis Landry, I know most of the talk has been about him going back to Cleveland now that the Amari Cooper deal has been done, which I won't be shocked by that.
I won't be shocked if Jarvis Landry waits until after the draft. He wants a chance to win, but he also wants to be involved. You got to say, being a receiver in an offense like that where you're so run-heavy, that's got to weigh on you.
Well, and now you have a quarterback, though.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to change that offense as much as people think.
Really?
It will be much more efficient, but I don't think he's going to throw 45 times a game.
Well, no.
This is not going to look like it was in Houston.
Yeah, no, you still have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt to run out of that backfield. No, they're going to continue to be run-centric, but now your pass plays just become even harder to defend. You got Odell Beckham Jr. still out there. I'm still expecting Rob Gronkowski is going to come back to Tampa. I can't see him.
I want him to pull the great swerve and go to Cincinnati.
I mean, I don't care what he does, but I'm expecting, I don't know that he is really into playing without Tom Brady, but maybe he does. Maybe he wants a change for the last year of his career.
Oh, I mean, if we're talking about what I really want him to do, I mean, I would like him to come to Asheville, North Carolina and have fatty natties with me, but that's,
Fatty natties.
Oh, yeah, that's
Are those the big ones? The 40 ounce?
No. Those are the
tall
wide mouth. They're the ones that you can drink in about 3 seconds.
I'm guessing you've done that several times.
100%.
Yeah, of course you have. Of course you have. Derek Barnett is another name that I thought would for sure be landed somewhere by now. Has there been any rumor as to where Derek Barnett's going to land?
No. He'll be a later in the process pick.
It's him and Jadeveon Clowney are the two big edge rushers left.
Yeah, and I just don't see Clowney like that. Everything I've heard about Clowney is he winds up back in Seattle.
Oh, okay.
Because he is an NFL nomad. He must be really difficult to work with. He never stays anywhere for more than 12 months. And from everything I've heard, Cleveland has no interest.
In bringing it back?
Nope.
Really?
Don't worry, that offer's not coming. You find what you need elsewhere.
I mean, he has been your punching bag for the last couple of years. I guess you've just always said that he's highly overrated.
Very. He's well known for something he did in college. Good for you.
But after you got Jarvis Landry and OBJ, the wide receiver market just falls off a cliff.
Gets very Julio Jones, Marquez, Valdez, Scantling.
That's the one. MVS is the one that I keep hearing, or I keep seeing little headlines about, so-and-so is thinking about bringing MVS in.
Well, the only problem is it's going to cost you $10 million a year.
Which is ridiculous.
Which for me, I'm going to go full Randy Jackson and say that's a no from me, dog.
Yeah, no.
I would give you $10 million if you signed a 10-year deal.
If Juju Smith-Schuster can get, a small base salary, but with all of those incentives, so his base salary is $325.
Yeah, but most of those incentives are, you were clinically alive.
$7.5 million in incentives on that deal. So it can balloon up to $10 million.
That's also another piece of salary cap wizardry. Because you can call anything a not likely to be achieved incentive.
Right. It's a smart cap.
Oh, yeah. At this point, the next CBA is going to have to be much more intricate. Because the ways to work around it have gotten insane. And I don't know where it ever stops.
And all of that, yeah.
The salary cap is right now projected to go up $30 million a year. Because the new TV money hits next year. So the thoughts with... I'll give you an example with the Tyreek Hill deal. Tyreek Hill deal. That is really hard to say. it may actually look like a value in a year. The cap goes up $30 million. You've got Christian Kirk making $22 million. Mm-hmm. Okay. Hearing that made me hate the Tyreek deal drastically less. Because he is still a high-impact weapon.
Mm-hmm.
This is a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
At this point, everything I know about the cap just gets thrown out the window because there's a new way to circumvent it.
Right. I think it was Nick Wright I heard talking about the Tyreek Hill deal, and that, long the thought has always been that if you get the best player in the deal, you win the trade. You've told me that numerous times about fantasy football.
That's a fantasy football thing. Yeah. That's not an NFL football
No, but he was using the same example of that's what the populace believes.
And it's wrong.
Most
of the worst deals that I can remember, the team that got the player lost.
Mm-hmm.
Laramie Tunsil. Do you realize what the Dolphins, if you go down the rabbit hole of what they actually got for Laramie Tunsil?
Tell me.
It was 4 middling players.
Mm-hmm.
Noah Igbignogany is one of them. I can't remember. Julian Davenport. They also got Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and they still have San Francisco's first rounder next year for Laramie Tunsil, who the Houston Texans would currently give you for a bag of footballs and 4 fatty natties.
So what, did they use some of that capital from the Houston deal to make the Tyreek deal?
They've made moves. And there were more things than that. But those are the players that they wound up with based off what they acquired.
What they acquired. Okay. Very good. There are still some impact free agents left out on the market. Big names, but I think, those of us who are a little older look at this list and go, oh, we remember the good old days. When Jadeveon Clowney and Jarvis Landry and Tyrann Mathieu and all these guys, not saying they can't make a difference now, but these were guys that never would have hit the market years ago. And now we're just coming into it, we're coming into that new era.
This is the first free agency class where I'm sitting here looking at it going, oh, yeah, I remember when I graded you coming out of college. Oh, no.
Yeah, that hits you hard.
I'm now older than you guys. I don't like that at all. I don't like that even a little bit.
Yeah, that hits you hard. The one that hit me hard yesterday was Arthur Smith was in Carolina to visit with Mac Brown and the football team. Arthur Smith played football sparingly at Carolina, graduated and all that kind of stuff. He comes back to talk to the team, and I just wanted to look up and see, how old is Arthur Smith? He's 3 months older than I am, which makes me feel awful.
Which means he's 4 years older than I am, and he looks like he could be my father.
He does.
Because he is aging like cheese.
Jeremy's picks of the night coming up after the break. It was a 1-3 night for Jeremy last night.
Wasn't good.
So
on the wrong side of a bunch of stuff. But not tonight.
A bunch of weird stuff. Greene on Greene is coming up next here in the Sportsocracy.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
As the country bounces back from COVID and mask mandates are lifted, your business needs a lift too. Promote your company right here, right now. Radio ads connect with 93% of Americans every week. That's more than Google, more than Facebook, more than TV. In fact, radio reaches 20% more millennials than TV. Want more of the people you want to talk to all in one place? Visit iHeartAdvertising.com and get AM and FM working for you. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Parenthood.
Not a job for the faint of heart. It takes nerves of steel and a pretty strong grip on your senses. So here's to the moms and dads who board this roller coaster for the ride of a lifetime. Ingles, all the ingredients for family.
This week at Ingles, select sizes and varieties Dunkin' Donuts, bag, or K-Cup coffee, $4.98 each. Select sizes and varieties Cheez-It crackers, buy one, get one free. And select Atkins Meal, Keto Bar, or protein-rich shakes, $6.98 each. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Taco Bell presents a get-out-of-bedtime story. It's time to wake up from this amazing dream, even though you're jet skiing on lemonade. How extreme! And oh, look at that, you just won the lottery. Is that a castle? Take the keys. It's your property. What's better than swimming in space? Just wait for the big reveal. It's Taco Bell breakfast and it's actually real. So it's time to wake up and bid your dreams farewell. Because toasted breakfast burritos are waiting for you. Only at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell locations near you during breakfast hours only.
iHeartRadio Earth knows small changes can make a big difference. Want to reduce your food waste? Embrace your freezer. From bread to meat and even cheese, most foods can be frozen and cooked later. Plus, a full freezer uses less electricity. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/earth.
Your happiest spring starts with Lowe's, and it all starts with firing up that grill and making spring sizzle. Get those gatherings started with Pit Boss Pro Series pellet grills starting at $4.99 exclusively at Lowe's. And keep your guests comfy with our conversation sets at our everyday low price starting at $3.58. Create a season full of togetherness and lots of delicious barbecue. At Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Valid 3/24 through 3/30, U.S. only.
Hey guys, I'm Ziggy, your local Philly girl, owner of Ziggy's Bakery and Deli. I've created a traditional northern deli with only the most authentic cheesesteaks outside of Philadelphia, served with provolone, white American, or Cheese Whiz. Our other classic deli sandwiches are made with the best quality meats and cheeses, available sliced by the pound. Join us for breakfast for house-made bagels with our custom cream cheeses. Or for something heartier, try a pork roll, egg, and cheese or house-cured lox. Ziggy's Bakery and Deli, in the corner of Asheville Commons, 1550 Hendersonville Road, open 8 to 3, Tuesday through Saturday.
The coffee's the closes on. Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power. That watch costs more than your car. Then when you get the power, then you get the wealth.
Last night was not a beautiful night in the neighborhood, so I'm going to give you a bonus pick here in Greene on Greene, so we'll have a pick on all 4 of tonight's Sweet 16 matchups. First, I start with a tweet from Darren Ravel. The biggest bet in America on the Sweet 16 today, $120,000 on Texas Tech money line against Duke. Here's the shocking part. It was placed here at a Caesars Sportsbook in North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
And I agree. I'm taking Texas Tech in the money line to beat Duke outright. Next, the Chicago Bulls are a 3-point dog tonight at New Orleans, and that is stupid. I do not in a million years see what it is that people are seeing in New Orleans. I get Chicago's not the same without Lonzo Ball. They still have DeMar DeRozan. They still have no ability to stop him. This one's easy. I'll take the Bulls outright. Give me the Bulls +3 against the New Orleans Pelicans. Next, the Phoenix Suns are a 3-point dog at my 2022 NBA champion Denver Nuggets. And that's dumb. That's dumb because, see, here's the thing. DeAndre Ayton is one of those players that can play out on Nikola Jokic. I feel like Vegas is just baiting me on a regular basis to bet against Phoenix, and I'm not going to do it. Give me the Phoenix Suns +3. Finally, the Toronto Raptors are home tonight to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They are a 5-point favorite. Over-under is 215. I am more confident on the under in this, but I have a funny feeling. Fans back in the crowd in Toronto. Cleveland is killed with injuries. I think Toronto's going to win this game, but what I'm all the way in on is under the 215. Slow pace, easy call. Under 215.
Go and do likewise, gents. The money's out there. You pick it up, it's yours. You don't, I got no sympathy for you.
And you take those wagers over to betus.com, betus.com. Use the promo code Sportsocracy and get a 125% deposit bonus on whatever you put in, up to $2,500.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
This is from Tom Pelissero on Twitter. The Kansas City Chiefs are signing former Packers receiver Marquez Valdez-Scantling to a 3-year, $30 million deal with incentives could reach to $36 million.
Yikes.
Because apparently they haven't seen him play the footballs, because that doesn't make any sense.
Well, how can they? They're playing on the same day every year or every week. Good.
That's
night.
a lot.
That is awful. I thought giving $30 million to Russell Gage was bad.
I'd say they're in the same ballpark. Marquez Valdez-Scantling can at least run real fast.
Russell Gage ain't fast?
Not like that. He's elite level, high end fast.
Okay.
That's a lot.
He can't catch footballs, though. It's the exact opposite of what Russell Gage is best at.
Wow. I don't know what to do.
And Aaron Rodgers is sitting back right now with that meme face, like, what? Why?
Like, have you not seen him play?
Yeah.
I could have told you that was a bad idea, because I've yelled at him a lot.
Yeah, I could have told you he's not worth $10 million a year. Wow. MVS going to KC. Today's a weird day for me. I'm wearing somebody else's pants, which is strange.
A weird day.
It is very strange. But I had to get some hand-me-down pants from a friend who's skinnier than me because I keep losing so much weight on the PhD weight loss program. I'm also at the point where I'm going to have to start putting extra holes in my belt because I can't get it tight enough. I have lost darn near 50 pounds in 4 months on PhD weight loss, and I encourage you to join us on the ride.
Convenience was what got me into the shape I was in. Fast food was always more convenient. That's what I did, and that's how I got to that weight. Now I'm back down to my high school weight. I'm sleeping better, and I feel fantastic, and it's all thanks to the plan at PhD Weight Loss.
We are putting better nutrition in our bodies now. I'm getting more active. We're dropping weight like crazy, and you need to make a life-changing decision, which this is life-changing for me. I've always been in that category of morbidly obese, official clinical term. I would like for that to change, and PhD is going to help me do that. MyPhDWeightLoss.com. It's MyPhDWeightLoss.com. We got Tar Heel time with Jones Angell coming up next. Stay with us.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Clear tonight, winds will diminish and the overnight low will dip down to 37. Clouds will spread in through Friday afternoon and there will be a slight chance for a shower popping up with a high of 56. Still the chance for rain on Friday night with a low of 37. And then a clearing trend will take place into the afternoon on Saturday with gusty winds and cooler air settling in. The high should hit 50 degrees, mostly sunny to wrap up the weekend on Sunday with a high once again in the low 50s. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by DuckDuckGo. Protect your privacy for free with DuckDuckGo.
I feel like I'm being haunted by a pair of headphones. Everywhere I go is a creepy ad for headphones I looked at one time. I hate that feeling like I'm being watched. I downloaded DuckDuckGo and saw a difference right away. Take back your privacy online with DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Mucinex DM's bilayer tablet allows for immediate and extended release, relieving both wet and dry coughs and loosening chest congestion for 12 hours. Mucinex is your trusted partner to help relieve cough and chest congestion and get your body back into control. Available at Walmart.
Your favorite radio station. Yeah, this one right here. And thousands more just like it are streaming on the free iHeartRadio app. And now you can talk to them with a single tap. Play any iHeartRadio station and tap the talkback mic on the screen to send your message in seconds. Ooh, and it's True Crime Week. Check our dangerously good lineup, including the new iHeart original podcast, What Happened to Sally Beale. Download the free iHeartRadio app today and discover music, radio, and podcasts you'll love.
iHeartRadio. Hi, I'm Chad Greenway. After retiring from the NFL, I've embraced my new role coaching my kids in their youth sports. Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to train, screen, and educate all of our basketball coaches. Visit trustedcoaches.org to learn more. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
The Sportsocracy.
You were just dumping a bag of hammers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. The Cleveland Browns tell ESPN they were aware of a second Texas grand jury considering evidence against quarterback Deshaun Watson. when they traded for him last week. This new grand jury is reviewing another accusation of sexual misconduct. The COVID-19 vaccine mandate for athletes and performers in New York City is now over. Nets point guard Kyrie Irving could play his first home game of the season Sunday against the Hornets. ESPN's Stephen A. Smith.
I don't think you can summarily dismiss the notion that the Brooklyn Nets could come out of the East. Who can't they beat? Who can we definitively look at and say there's no way in hell they can beat? The answer would be no one, because they are the Brooklyn Nets. We're talking about KD and Kyrie here.
Stephen A. Smith on First Take. After leading Tennessee to its first SEC tournament title in 43 years, Volunteers coach Rick Barnes gets a contract extension through 2027. And 16 MLB players have their contracts renewed, including Randy Arozarena, Yordan Alvarez, and Bo Bichette.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy, presented by Ingles Supermarkets.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. I am Tank Spencer. Jeremy Greene's alongside as well, and it is 4 o'clock on a Thursday, so it is time for Tar Heel Time with Jones Angell joining us here on ESPN Asheville, always live in the Ingles Studio. You can hear us everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, and of course see us everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com. Don't forget to click on the live video link, hit the subscribe button as well so you can get into the chat. But Jones Angell, welcome in, sir. And have you been able to recover from the Baylor game?
Yeah, that was a wild one for sure, Tank. I'm not sure I've ever seen one quite like that, where the Tar Heels were so good and so dominant for 30 minutes of that game. Then, of course, the ejection of Brady Manek changed the feel of that one, and a lot of crazy things happened over that final 10 minutes, and that was not the Tar Heels' finest basketball in that stretch, but to their credit. I know I even said it going in on the air going into the overtime. It was hard to like Carolina's chances at that point, and yet they found a way to do it. They clamped down defensively. Baylor was just 1 of 11 in that extra period. The Tar Heels hit a couple of big shots, converted at the free throw line, and got out of Fort Worth with a really big win. So now up here in Philadelphia, and just got back from the Wells Fargo Center a little more than an hour ago after Carolina went through its media and practice sessions, and now getting ready for the long wait for the late tip tomorrow night against UCLA.
And we'll get into the preview of that game in just a minute, but I want to talk a little bit more about that Baylor game, because the number one thing everybody has taken away from that game was the officiating was just awful, and it was it was slow. It was a hard fought battle. It's nothing against our players. The ejection of Brady Manek though obviously turned everything. And I don't know what happened at that point, because it was just the ejection happens, and then here comes Baylor.
Yeah, I think a couple of different things happened, and number one is you have to credit Baylor. I mean, Baylor's a really good team, and they made some key plays in that stretch to get back in the ball game, hit some tough three-pointers, which allowed them to get back in. I was looking back yesterday, Tank, just at the actual play-by-play, like on the piece of paper of telling you each play that happened during that stretch. And, I mean, Carolina was still up 16 points with like 5 minutes left, and still up 7 points with a minute left. I mean, this was an incredible comeback on multiple layers from Baylor's point of view. And some of that credit has to go to them, because they made some difficult plays and made some difficult shots. And that is not an easy thing, obviously, to come back from. The second part of that is obviously the Tar Heels had to make some mistakes, and Carolina did not shoot particularly well at the free throw line, particularly Armando Bacot, who's had a really good year, honestly, at the line. He entered that game 70% for the season, and he had been above 75% for the last 14 or 15 games going into that particular contest. But he just didn't convert. I do think he had injured his thumb a little bit earlier in the game. I don't know if that played a role in some of those misses. Obviously, those are pressure shots as well. And they just didn't go in when Carolina had a chance a couple of times at the line to close things out and couldn't quite do it. And so that's part two, is that there were some mistakes, certainly, that the Tar Heels made. And then part three is, I do think there were some curious calls for sure during that stretch. And what Hubert Davis has talked about, which I think is the right thing, because it's really the only thing you can do if you're the Tar Heels or any team, is that you have to react better to it. I certainly think there were some controversial calls, some things that were happening on one side that were getting called fouls, that weren't getting called fouls on the other end. And I think all that is, I know it sounds like complaining, but I truly do think that's what happened. But if you're Carolina, you've got to react to it better, because there's nothing you can do about it other than complain, and that doesn't really do you much good. And so fortunately for Carolina, they were able to make enough plays, again, particularly in that overtime period, to overcome all of those things and get out of there with a win.
And that was the most surprising thing of all to me. I told everybody that was around me at the moment, if we're going into overtime and we're going to lose this game by 6, and then ended up that Baylor still couldn't hit their shots in the extra frame, and the Tar Heels were able to close it out. I don't know that I've been more proud of this team this year than winning that game.
Well, and you mentioned, and I've mentioned it too, the defensive numbers, I think, kind of have gotten lost through what Carolina was able to do offensively in the two games in Fort Worth, because the Tar Heels were really impressive on the offensive side, particularly with sharing the basketball. They had an assist on better than 80% of their field goals in the two games, scored more than 90 points in both games. Of course, one of them did have an overtime period, but still scored more than 90 points in back-to-back tournament games for the first time since 2008. A bunch of individual numbers. R.J. Davis with the 30 points. Brady Mannix, 28, 26. Caleb Love had the 6 3-pointers against Marquette. So, there were plenty of offensive numbers to pick out. But really, I think the defensive numbers were the ones that helped Carolina win, particularly that matchup against Baylor down the stretch. In the two games, Tar Heel opponents shot just 35%. That's pretty low. And so for Carolina to be able to hold two good teams, and Baylor was an explosive offensive team, and to be able to hold them down for a large majority of that game defensively was impressive, even during Baylor's comeback. And it's crazy to think about. It's not as though the Bears were shooting the lights out necessarily during that comeback. Their percentage improved from what it had been the previous 30 minutes when Carolina had just been spectacular in just about every fashion. But it still wasn't as if Baylor was going 8 of 10 or something from the field. And so the defensive numbers, I think, were really good for Carolina, and numbers that they'll have to try and replicate against some really good teams that are here in Philadelphia.
Well, it is Sweet 16 time, and stat I saw earlier today that North Carolina is part of a group of 13, I believe it was 13 teams that have made it to the Sweet 16 from the ACC that had an 8 or lower seed. Only 2 of them have ever gone on to the Final Four, though. So obviously there's an uphill battle going on here for the Tar Heels, not just because it's hard to get that far, but also what stands in front of us. We got UCLA, who we were supposed to play in Vegas earlier this year, that had to flip and turn into the Kentucky game, which all Tar Heel fans wish didn't happen at this point, but that's way in the past, and this is a different team.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think Carolina's a different team. I'm sure UCLA is different, and Tank, you want to be different. You want to be better. I certainly hope you're better on March 20, whatever today is, compared to December 18th, which is when these two teams were supposed to play the first time. If you're not better now than you were then I don't think you're achieving what you want to achieve during the season. And so that has been positive for Carolina, is I do think the Tar Heels have gotten better as this season has gone along, and better in every facet, whether that's sharing the ball, whether that's on the defensive side, whether that's rebounding the basketball in total, whatever that might be. I think Carolina has shown very consistent and easy to see and easy to understand improvement as the year has gone along. To your first point about not many teams get to the Final Four, I mean, you're right. The number one reason why it's hard to make the Final Four. I mean, you think you've gotten to this point in the tournament, and you're not even halfway to a national championship as far as the number of games that you have to win. And so, this is a hard event, and there's really good teams. And Carolina just beat Baylor, and that's a spectacular win. And Baylor has a terrific program and is one of the best teams in the country this season. And give huge credit to Carolina for winning that game. But that doesn't mean that now the next team's going to go, oh, gosh, you beat Baylor? Oh, come on through. You guys do whatever you want.
Right.
I mean, UCLA is a team that has a bunch of veterans that went to the Final Four a year ago that all came back with the desire to get back and take the next couple of steps that they were unable to take last season. They've had a terrific year. They picked at the top of the Pac-12. This is a really, really good basketball team that Carolina is going to be facing. So, yeah, I mean, it's hard to make the Final Four. It's hard to win this tournament, and Carolina's taken the first couple of steps, and that's great. But there's still a bunch more steps that need to be taken.
The number one question for Tar Heel fans, I think, right now is looking at the opponent, Jaime Jaquez. Is he going to be able to play in this one? He was apparently out practicing today on that sprained ankle. They're still saying he's day-to-day, but, I mean, I think Mick Cronin said it last week. If he can walk, he's going to play.
Yeah, and Coach Cronin and UCLA just met with the media a little while ago, and the word was that he was expected to give it a shot. Unclear how effective he will be, but that he is expected, barring some major setback between now and then, he's expected to at least give it a go, and that's a big deal for UCLA. Jaquez is a really good player, and part of what makes them so difficult to go against, because I think UCLA's strength on the court is their versatility in how they can score. They have a lot of different guys who just individually can either score themselves or get the defense out of position to the point that then they can find somebody else for an easy basket. And Jaquez is a big part of that. He's averaging 14 points, 6 rebounds. He is their top rebounder, top stealer of the basketball. He's second on their team in assists. So, I mean, he does a lot. And he's a veteran player, as a lot of these guys are. I mean, he's a junior. And so he's played a lot of basketball. He was a big part of their Final Four run a season ago. And that is what makes UCLA so tough, is that they do have all these older guys who have played together for a while and that can really score. And so whether you're talking about Juzang or Campbell or somebody off the bench like Jalen Clark, Jules Bernard, another starter, he's a senior. All these different guys have the capability of scoring. And one thing I think is really interesting, Tank, is just the matchup of the personnel as far as kind of how it's laid out. Because Carolina, certainly we know about the importance of Baycott down low and how big Brady Manick has been. UCLA does not have a ton of size. They aren't a really big team, but they have a bunch of guys kind of in that 6'6", 6'7", 6'8" range that they'll run out there at you, that are all athletic players on the wing that Carolina's going to have to guard. Now, UCLA is going to have to guard Carolina's size also, but kind of how that matchup of Carolina's size, particularly with Baycott and Manick, how that matches up with some of the wing guys for UCLA, because they aren't necessarily going to have a true post player out there very often.
One guy that I know is going to be very, very busy coming up tomorrow night in this game. It's got to be Leaky Black, right?
Yeah, and it's always interesting to watch to see who he guards. I mean, to me, that's always fascinating at the beginning of the game to see who the coaches feel like, at least from the start, who they want him on. And you have to think it's going to be Juzang. I don't know that for a fact, but Johnny Juzang, 6'7", 215 pounds. He's a junior. He's the leading scorer for UCLA at almost 16 per game, third best in the Pac-12. So, I mean, he's somebody that can really score and do so efficiently. He can step out, hit the threes better than 35% from there. If you foul him, he's really good at the free throw line at better than 83%. So he's the complete package offensively. And so at least on paper, you would think that that's where Carolina would go with Leaky Black, but don't know. You know, the Heels have moved him around a bunch here as of late, all the way from guarding Kihei Clark of Virginia in the ACC tournament to then moving him up to, you know, Hunter Couture, more of a guy who runs around screens to try to get threes when Carolina faced Virginia Tech. And, he's guarded some power forwards this year as well. And so how Carolina maneuvers him will be interesting to watch. But at least on paper, again, you would think he would start on Juzang and then see where they go from there.
Well, everything is easier on paper. Yeah, if you look at it on paper, it's going to be
That's right.
Right, it's going to be a super tough matchup for the guards in this game. For Carolina on the defensive end. And then you look at the bigs, like you said, with Baycott and Manick. I don't know that they have anybody that can stand toe to toe with those guys for an extended period of time on the floor.
Yeah, it's the size is the deal. You know, Cody Riley is their normal starter in the post, so he's listed at 6'9", 250 pounds. So certainly not a small guy by any stretch, but I think Baycott would be more comfortable in the post than Riley would be. They being UCLA, also have Rutgers transfer Miles Johnson. Yeah, he's a big wingspan, Pac-12 defensive team member coming off the bench. So he's somebody that I would expect you would see as well, maybe play, and he plays a lot, but maybe play a few more minutes in this game. If Baycott is able to have some success down low, you may see UCLA go to him and see if they can use a little more size against him. You mentioned the guards. Tiger Campbell, I think, somebody who's just gotten so much better. I remember Carolina, played UCLA, and they've played a bunch over the last, over the last several years. They played out in Las Vegas during the 1920 season when Carolina did not have a very good year or team that particular season. And Carolina still won that game. And I remember thinking, leaving that game, like, ooh, that Tiger Campbell guy, he's had some trouble. But he has gotten so much better as he has gone through his last couple of seasons. And now you're looking at a first-team all-conference player, really smart with the basketball. He led the Pac-12 in the assist-to-turnover ratio. He's better than 40% from three-point range. He's nearly 85% at the free throw line. So somebody they feel very comfortable with the ball in his hands late in games, that can score, that can distribute, and then if you have to foul, somebody that can make you pay for doing that. And again, the veteran nature of this team has to continue to be talked about. This is an old group. These guys have been together and been successful together. Yeah, they were a half-court shot from Gonzaga last year away from going to overtime in that Final Four game. So they have experienced a high level of success. And I remember when Carolina had that group coming back in 17 that had so many of the same pieces from 16 that had gotten to the national championship game and fallen short. It's hard to sell that short when you have a talented, experienced group that came back with one of their major goals to get back where they were the year before to try and take a step or two more and reach that ultimate goal. That's a powerful thing. And while I certainly haven't talked to any of the players on UCLA about that, you have to think that is a big part of their motivation and part of what has made them so good.
Well, I don't know that you need at this stage any extra motivation. Everybody knows what's on the line. It's win or go home, and if it's win, then it is basically March immortality. Without a big man, were you guys in the broadcast booth last week? Is Eric Montross going to be able to join you on the broadcast this weekend?
Yes, good. Eric is back. In fact, I saw him a little bit ago, and we're glad to have the big fella back. He unfortunately had to quarantine last week. He went into the old health and safety protocols, but he's doing okay, which is great to hear. And we didn't have it all during the Marquette game. He joined us via the telephone for some pre and half and post game stuff for the Baylor contest, but he'll be back on site with us starting tomorrow night. It's a late tip, at 9:30 or so Eastern time. we'll be on the air at 8:30 for that one to get you ready for Carolina and UCLA. Looking forward to it, and glad to be back at full strength for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so everybody at full strength, and let's go Tar Heels. Tomorrow night, you'll hear it right here on ESPN Asheville. Jones, it's a pleasure talking to you once again, and we'll talk to you next week. Hopefully we're talking about a Final Four.
Thanks, Tank. Always appreciate the time.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. What are the best bets for the tournament this weekend in the Sweet 16? Jeremy and I will talk about it up next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Clear tonight, winds will diminish and the overnight low will dip down to 37. Clouds will spread in through Friday afternoon and there will be a slight chance for a shower popping up with a high of 56. Still the chance for rain on Friday night with a low of 37. And then a clearing trend will take place into the afternoon on Saturday with gusty winds and cooler air settling in. The high should hit 50 degrees, mostly sunny to wrap up the weekend on Sunday with a high once again in the low 50s. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stop and go this afternoon on 40 westbound. You're on the brakes between Vines Creek Road and Harmon Den Road. Traffic is stop and go on 112 northbound between Brevard Road and Sand Hill Road. And you can expect more delays due to volume on 26 westbound between US 25 and Long Shoals Road. I'm Linda Silver with Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. You could live in a time loop where every day is Friday and boldly seasoned Mexican spiced nacho fries with warm nacho cheese sauce never leave the menu. But you don't have to. Nacho fries are back. Get them today, the next day, and the day after that at a participating Taco Bell location near you for a limited time only.
Are you at a dead end when it comes to dealing with that awful joint pain? So was Rick Rawlings.
I did 1.5 years of steroidal injections in my shoulders, both shoulders. They weren't helping at all, and it was just a Band-Aid.
As for the constant pain medication prescriptions,
I didn't get any relief. I didn't get any sleep, so I just stopped taking them. I didn't want to get hooked on drugs.
But one day,
I heard a commercial on the radio about QC Kinetics.
Rick called QC Kinetics and learned all about natural biologic therapies, non-surgical treatments that actually help the body restore damaged joint tissue. And it was life-changing.
After doing the QC Kinetics, I feel like I have a new life again. Today, my shoulders feel wonderful. My only regret was I wish I had done it sooner.
From dead ends to new beginnings. Call today and learn about QC Kinetics' long-lasting relief.
Call QC Kinetics, 826-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517.
Taco Bell presents a get-out-of-bedtime story. It's time to wake up from this amazing dream, even though you're jet skiing on lemonade. How extreme! And oh, look at that, you just won the lottery. Is that a castle? Take the keys, it's your property. What's better than swimming in space? Just wait for the big reveal. It's Taco Bell breakfast and it's actually real. So it's time to wake up and bid your dreams farewell. Because toasted breakfast burritos are waiting for you. Only at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell locations near you during breakfast hours only.
Frontline Plus is the #1 name in flea and tick protection. Not just because it kills fleas, ticks, and chewing lice on your dog or cat, or protects them for 30 days, or has a 20-year legacy of trusted protection. It's because whether fun with your pets means a day on the trails or a night on the couch, Frontline Plus lets you take them everywhere, no matter how you define it. Frontline Plus, available for dogs or cats. Visit frontline.com to learn more.
Did you know select Ingles Markets now offer curbside service? Shopping has never been easier with all the quality and service you expect from Ingles. Visit ingles-markets.com to find a store near you and start shopping.
Hey guys, I'm Ziggy, your local Philly girl, owner of Ziggy's Bakery and Deli. I've created a traditional northern deli with only the most authentic cheesesteaks outside of Philadelphia, served with provolone, white American, or Cheese Whiz. Our other classic deli sandwiches are made with the best quality meats and cheeses, available sliced by the pound. Join us for breakfast for house-made bagels with our custom cream cheeses. Or for something heartier, try a pork roll, egg and cheese, or house-cured lox. Ziggy's Bakery and Deli, in the corner of Asheville Commons, 1550 Hendersonville Road, open 8 to 3, Tuesday through Saturday.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, live from the Ingles Studio and the most overrated bands bracket the right side is winning.
But just barely.
Yeah, just barely. Yep, they are. We are at 53% for the Chicks and 47% for the Beatles.
It is still salvageable for the Beatle haters like me.
Most overrated bands bracket Sweet 16 matchup. The Beatles against the Chicks, formerly known as the Dixie Chicks. You can vote, of course, on the YouTube stream. Just go to thesportsocracy.com. Click on the live video link. Hit the subscribe button. That'll get you in to the chat. Again, I have to keep saying with the Beatles, there has never been a band in history that has had as much influence and impact on music in such a short amount of time as the Beatles have.
Most overrated band of all time.
Jeez. 6 years changed.
By quite a deal, actually.
In 6 years, they changed the course of musical history.
Yeah, they took it from bad to worse.
From bad to worse. Music didn't start being good until when, Jeremy?
Oh, let's see. When did it start being good? I'm going to say the early 90s. But then again,
early 90s.
I'm an old school hip hop guy,
so it started being good around MC Hammer time. Is that what you're saying?
No.
That's
probably the right time frame. Yes.
Oh, you're going for the grunge age. That's where it started.
Nirvana wasn't bad. There were a lot of great bands that came along in that 1990 to 2000 era.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's awful again. I couldn't name a popular band right now, and I don't want to.
It depends on... See, today music's so fractured into genres that, because everything's so on demand with the iHeartRadio app or with whatever. You can listen to only your music all the time. You don't have to, you don't have to rely on top 40 radio stations anymore to give you the greatest hits of the day.
And I don't, because top 40 is absolutely atrocious.
It's atrocious. Shh, the people from Star might hear you.
None of them are here.
Oh, that's right.
Trust me, I get to, when they're not here, their door's open, so I get to hear it.
You get to hear all of it.
I get to play a fun game of what is that noise, because it's not good.
All right, cast your votes now in the most overrated bands bracket, Sweet 16 matchup. The Chicks currently beating the Beatles as most overrated.
There's still time.
There's still
Beatle
time.
haters like me, there is still time.
We got the Sweet 16 coming up tonight. You got 4 games tonight in the Sweet 16. You're going to see Arkansas take on Gonzaga. You got Michigan and Villanova, which I think is going to be a barn burner of a game.
It's funny because that's the one game that I don't think is going to be good. No.
You think Villanova's just going to scatter, smother, and cover?
Smoke them.
Okay. Texas Tech and Duke started out as a Texas Tech lean. Then it went to a Duke lean. And at least right now on betus.com, betus.com, use the promo code Sportsocracy. Get that 125% deposit bonus. It is a pick'em between the Texas Tech Red Raiders and the Duke Blue Devils tonight. And then the nightcapper, 10 o'clock tip-off, Houston and Arizona.
Why are we tipping these games off at 10 o'clock? By the way, I know the excuse we're going to get, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Primetime. You want them to start at 5 o'clock?
Then let Gonzaga play at 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
Why is Gonzaga tipping off at, 7:09?
7:09.
But the Duke game tips off at 9:40. And now look, I'll be awake for all of them anyway. It's just so stupid. You have them on 4 channels anyway. Can we not stagger this to a point that the game doesn't end at 12:14 at night?
Are they really? They're all on 4 different channels?
No, when you get to this point, they go down to CBS and TBS.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So this week, we don't have to play the fun game of what channel is True TV again? There are, 4 days out of the year that anyone ever watches that channel?
Mm-hmm. Apparently a lot of Impractical Jokers episodes on that channel. That's the only promo that they kept running the whole time that I even knew what they were talking about. You ever watch that show?
I have. It does absolutely nothing for me.
Nothing.
Nothing.
I used to watch that show when it was first called Candid Camera. That back in the 90s when music got good for Jeremy Greene. All right, let's get weird.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
Jeremy doesn't like little animals that can, do him no harm. Birds, squirrels,
they can do
things
plenty
like
of
that. How do you feel about big animals, though? When big animals roam into Jeremy Greene's world, how does that affect you?
It depends on what form of big animal you're talking about.
Well, I've already seen how you get crazy over the bears in your trash can when you used to live up on the mountain.
Yeah, now they don't care. Now they're cute. They live their life. We have Barry the bear that lives on our desk. I'm fine. They're fine.
What if it was a mountain lion? Would you be okay with a mountain lion? Because the reason I asked this question is because just the other day in Irvine, California, at about 1:15 in the afternoon, and a shopping plaza there called the Oak Creek Community Park, just so happened a 2-year-old mountain lion just starts roaming into the shopping mall. And, of course, sending everyone screaming and running. Now, look, I'm not a wildlife expert, and I'm not the guy to give out tips, but I don't know that running and screaming is a great way to react when there is a big cat in the neighborhood. Could be wrong on that, but running away gives it something to chase. I'm sure you need to find a storefront to pop into or whatnot. The good news is, though, they were able to tranquilize it after about 2 hours of this thing roaming around the shopping mall and scaring everybody to death. They were able to tranquilize it, send it back into the wild, no injuries reported. But I can only imagine the frightened look on Jeremy's face would be if you were faced with a mountain lion. Yeah.
I watched Tiger King. I'm not really.
You're not afraid of big cats?
I feel like I could just play it a Joe Exotic song and it would go, oh, friend. That's a friend right there.
I don't know.
And it would deal with the birds for me.
It would deal with the birds?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because say that cat can't fly. Now, if you had a flying mountain lion, now I don't want to mess with it. I have long been a fan of chips and crackers.
Mm-hmm.
All kinds. But one of my particular favorites is the Ritz cracker. If you're a comedy fan, Mitch Hedberg once famously said, I don't love a Ritz because it's just a little edible plate. Well, that's exactly why I love it. Well, over the course of the last few days, a TikTok user named Kenshawn Carabello, he has started quite a stir. And I don't know what to do with this because I've been eating Ritz crackers since before I could talk. Do you know why they have ridges? I've always thought it was weird. Like, you have to do that on purpose. So there has to be a reason that you do that.
So on the edge of the cracker where it is.
The edge of the cracker has a little perforation.
Yeah.
I've always wondered why you did that. I thought it was just a design thing.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently it's not. It's so you can cut cheese with it. He demonstrated this on his TikTok, and a slew of people have been saying, well, I've done that forever. First of all.
Who are you people?
First of all, it's genius because I love crackers and I love cheese, but I don't like carrying around a little plastic knife to cut the cheese. Now, what I do is just eat the cheese.
Just take the whole block
just take a block and bite it. I don't
hunk
care.
it off, yeah.
I love cheese. But after watching these videos, I am completely of the belief now that the reason there is a perforation on a Ritz cracker is because it's used to cut cheese with no trash and no cleanup.
I never would have thought to even try that.
Best cracker. What is the best cracker? The best chip has officially been, I mean, it's new. I don't know how long it's been a thing, but it's a thing.
The Dorito.
Flamin' Hot Cool Ranch Dorito.
Right.
That's 5 words that are it's just 5 of the happiest words in the English language put all together.
Best cracker is the Ritz cracker.
See, I disagree. It's the Cheez-It.
No.
Because the Cheez-It does not require the cheese. It's just a cracker with cheese already in it.
Mm-hmm.
especially the white cheddar Cheez-It.
Yeah, I don't consider that a cracker. And I know that it is, and I know that it's a bite-sized snack. It's a bite-sized snack. When I think cracker, I think something that you can put stuff on. So it goes Ritz. Number 2 is the Townhouse.
Scott Cudgel has the right answer. If you're going strict cracker, Captain Wafer.
Yep. Keebler Club.
Those with an oyster, a little hot sauce. Oh,
yeah. Keebler Club
I could
crackers.
do that all day.
It's got to have flavor, though. Worst cracker by far, saltines. Don't understand why they exist.
Saltine good with peanut butter. Phenomenal.
Nah.
That is literally the only reason it exists is as a way to hold peanut butter to put it in your mouth.
Right. Use a cracker with some taste to it.
Oh, the chicken and biscuit. I forgot that too. I don't even know what that's flavored with, but it's so good.
It's meat bird dust.
I don't know what it is. But it's wonderful.
It is wonderful.
I have never eaten it with any form of chicken that wasn't chicken salad.
And goes very, very well with any type of dip. The chicken and a biscuit. You were correct. I was wrong. That's cracker number 1.
Chicken and biscuit is wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, chicken and biscuit with an oyster. I don't think I've ever done that.
No.
That would be tremendous.
No, never done it. Do it a lot with my Brunswager dip, and it goes wonderfully with that. And, if this is making you hungry, go get your crackers today over at Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices. Love the savings. All right. Biggest bets in the NCAA, or best bets in the NCAA tournament. We already went down the 4 games that are going tonight. Jeremy, where does the all-seeing Flostradamus give us the best opportunity to make some money?
Well, I'm going to give you the picks at the end of this segment. The bigger narrative to me is you're going to have 3 games tonight that are phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas-Gonzaga is going to be phenomenal. Arkansas is a 10-point dog.
Which is dumb.
I can neither confirm nor deny that, but I do have a dedicated stance on it.
Oh, yeah.
Arkansas is the one team that I think was misseeded. As a matter of fact, I shouldn't even say it that way. I think the entire SEC was misseeded. Kentucky was too high. Mm-hmm. Tennessee was too low. And, of course, they threw that out the window when they lost to Michigan.
Right.
But I really like Arkansas. That's a very talented team. And I think they're going to give Gonzaga more problems than people think. And that number's been coming down all day. I think it started at 12.5. That's a lot in a Sweet 16 game that doesn't involve St. Peter's, whose coach has one foot out the door and the other on a banana peel.
Arkansas has the opportunity to pull the upset. There's no doubt about it. Gonzaga's going to struggle with that defense, though.
I'm going to level with you. Arkansas is the best chance that Gonzaga does not win the national title. Because I don't care if they play Duke or Texas Tech, they will blow either one of them out.
I would tend to agree with that.
Gonzaga's just so disciplined.
Yeah, Duke doesn't match up well with Gonzaga
they don't.
At all.
And what Texas Tech does, they're too small.
Mm-hmm.
Chad Holmgren would eat them alive.
Yep. Like
Arkansas?
Tonight I feel like Texas Tech, they got a great shot at moving on. I feel like that, they're tough defensively. They've got that, they've got that mindset of what's his name, Mark Adams, the head coach who took over this past
Chris
year.
Beard.
Yeah, right. But he was the defensive scheme guy for Chris Beard, and all of that still exists, and they're just as good now as they were when Chris Beard was there.
That's the hardest game to prognosticate to me. Because you got to take into account the pressure that mounted on Duke when they played Carolina. So you cannot overlook the fact that the further in this tournament you get, the more likely it is you see that scared, timid Duke team.
Mm-hmm.
But conversely, you also have to know you're going to catch their best shot because the next one's the last one. That's the last ride for Coach K, and that's the one thing that binds them all together.
Yep.
I have chosen a side, and as I said in the first hour, that's the one that I didn't put in 5 on it because I'm not comfortable enough to put money on it.
Mm-hmm.
I gave the pick because I have to pick all the NCAA tournament games so you can take them to betus.com, use promo code Sportsocracy, and make all your doll hairs. And I would go Texas Tech, but it's close.
Yep.
It's very close.
Yep. On the other side of the bracket tonight, you got Arizona taking on Houston.
That's the game of the night.
I don't know how Kelvin Sampson has been able to do this.
Because he's a phenomenal coach.
I mean, I get it, but you lose Sasser and Mark early in the season, and everybody just went, okay, well, there goes Houston. They're, they'll still be a threat in the conference, but they're not going to make a run in the NCAA tournament. And here they are in Sweet 16 going up against Arizona, who's a really good team, really well coached. They've got a whole lot of talent. How much of a threat is Houston?
Oh, I think this is a 50-50 toss-up to me.
Really?
Arizona's good. They're very good. There's been noise around that program this week. I'm never
With the
a fan of
TCU
that.
thing?
I'm
Yeah.
never a fan of that. When you start having to answer questions about things like that, I'm not going to say it takes your eye off the prize. It's just, it has an effect. I like Houston. I feel like at some point Houston's going to break through and win a national title because I'm not sure Kelvin Sampson's not the best coach in the country.
Really?
You got to think what he lost. Lost Caleb Mills, who's now at Florida State. Lost Quentin Grimes to the NBA. Lost 2 players early in the season, and it hasn't mattered. They're still insanely good, and they're so fast. Can't give my lean on that one yet, but I think that's the game of the night.
Okay. That's your game of the night. I think Villanova, Michigan's probably going to be the game of the night.
And that's the one I would say you could eat a whole box of chicken in a biscuit during, because I think it's over 10 minutes in.
Really? Why? Because Michigan just doesn't have the horses, or what?
Michigan is incredibly undisciplined. Incredibly undisciplined. That's why I had them losing in the opener. Because now it slipped my mind. Colorado State. I thought a team that shot that many threes would mess with them. Any team that has Colin Gillespie, yeah, I'm probably going to go that way. He's the best player in this game. Flat out, and I don't think it's all that close. It's a college player. Hunter Dickinson, I'm sure, will have a better NBA career. But Colin Gillespie's just, he's that guy. And you never can count out Villanova.
Oh, I agree. You got a senior-led team. Colin Gillespie is the best guard in the country.
That's the other part, is that you have a ton of upperclassmen that play on this team. And every time I watch Michigan, I see the talent, but they go through these like 8-minute runs where there is no deliberate movement on offense. It's just run around and try to find a spot to jack up a three. And to me, you do that against Villanova and you will get your doors blown off, which is exactly what I think is going to happen tonight.
Yeah, I did not think that they were going to be able to get past Tennessee when they did. I mean, I told you first round of the tournament, they were going to get past Colorado State because the size difference was so great. With Caleb Houston and Hunter Dickinson, you saw, if you watched that game, you saw down toward the end of the game or right after halftime, they figured it out. They went, oh, wait, we can't just trade, guard shots with these guys. We've got to get it to the big guys. And they started feeding Hunter Dickinson, and that's where everything changed. I didn't think they were going to get past Tennessee, but they did. I like Villanova, and I think Villanova will win this game, but I think it's going to be very close. Because Villanova's in a similar spot to me that Colorado State was. They don't have the size to be able to handle those guys.
No, but they're so disciplined. They're so disciplined. There's no wasted movement on offense. And I don't buy Michigan. Now, it shows how much I know. I didn't think they should be here. I didn't think this team should make the tournament. But you've won 2 games that I did not expect you to win, and you're here. And unfortunately, I think you've traveled quite a long way to get absolutely eviscerated.
I mean, is there anybody shocked truly shocked that these are the teams that are left? I mean, just talking about tonight's game. Now, you look at the leadership on all of these teams, and they all litter the top 10, top 12 of head coaches in college basketball.
If you had picked a Sweet 16 before this season, outside of one game where one of them's going to the Elite Eight, there wouldn't have been a surprise in the bunch outside of St. Peter's. St. Peter's,
Agreed.
Iowa State, and Miami. That's it.
Carolina.
I feel like
Carolina would have been a surprise for me.
I don't know that it would have.
Preseason being a Sweet 16 team under Hubert Davis, I just couldn't get there. I mean, I love Hubie and everything, but I didn't think they actually had the talent to be able to make it this far. And so now,
And now if
everything's
you told me
gravy.
if you had told me the injury issues they were going to go through, then I would agree with that. But the roster at the outset was deep and big and good.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't really surprise me that much. Now, if you watch the first 3 months of the season, then that's slightly a different story. But I'm talking about if we had done this in July,
right?
I feel like 13 of these 16 teams were pretty easy to figure out. Providence would be on the backside of that, but Ed Cooley's such a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got older players. That's a more vet team. I'm not going to say I would have picked it. I'm just saying it's not as surprising as the other three.
Right.
Iowa State won 2 games last year. Two.
And they have turned that around to a Sweet 16 berth, and if they can beat Miami, which they can do, they'll be in the Elite Eight. One of 8 teams left in the NCAA tournament could very well be the Cyclones from Iowa State. That's just baffling to think about. All right, are you ready to give your picks now? Let's put 5 on it.
This one's all college basketball.
Yeah.
First, Arkansas's a 10-point dog against Gonzaga. I love Eric Musselman, and I got 50 on it. I'm not telling you Arkansas is going to win this game, but I think it's going to be close, and I think this will go down to the wire. What might mess with them? I don't know exactly how they're going to handle Chet Holmgren. If he gets in foul trouble, I'll take Arkansas. This is one to live bet as this is going along. You see Chet Holmgren pick up a second foul inside the first 10 minutes. Now he has to play tentative. That's a huge advantage to Arkansas. I got 50 on it. Razorbacks plus the 10. Next, Villanova's a 5-point favorite against Michigan tonight. I got 50 on that as well. Villanova is so senior-laden. They're so disciplined, and they're so good. I think they're going to take advantage of what Michigan has struggled with all year, and that is these big, long chunks of mental lapse time where they cannot get easy shots if they don't come from Hunter Dickinson. I got 50 on it. Villanova minus the 5. Finally, the Houston Cougars are a 1.5-point dog tonight against Arizona. That number should tell you everything you need to know because that feels like it's about 4 points too low. It's not. This team's really good. They're really fast. They're really good defensively. And something that I haven't heard anybody talk about, they share the basketball better than any team left in this tournament. I got 50 on it. Houston Cougars plus the 1.5. I think they win it outright.
I was going to say, taking them plus 1.5, you might as well throw some on the money line.
No. I mean, you can throw some on the money line.
Right.
It doesn't change much. If you're going to give me that hook, I'll happily take that for very little fee.
Take all those wagers over to betus.com. Use the promo code Sportsocracy and get a 125% deposit bonus on whatever you put in up to $2,500. BetUS.com, promo code Sportsocracy. I'm Tank Spencer. Jeremy Greene here as well, and we will be right back.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic has come to a halt on 40 westbound between Fines Creek Road and Harmon Den. Slow traffic on 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Mumford. Also expect delays on 26 westbound between Asheville Highway and Long Shoals. Traffic is slow on NC 112 northbound between Brevard and Sandy Hill. I'm Linda Silver with Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Are you a safe driver? Are you looking to save money? With DriveWise from Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
Hey folks, DG here. Y'all know I've always loved the slogan, Smiles Change Lives, which I first heard years ago from Dr. Rebecca Merrill of Asheville Smiles. I hope you will live that slogan here in 2022. Whether it's just time for a routine cleaning, you want to learn more about Invisalign, a great alternative to braces, you need a diagnosis and treatment plan, or if you don't have dental insurance, you just want to learn more about her special membership plans. 828-251-2426 or AshevilleSmiles.com.
I'm a big fan of the PhD weight loss program because after being on this program for 15 weeks, I'm down to 250 pounds. I have lost 45 pounds on this program, and I'm not hungry. That's the biggest thing that keeps sticking with me is that they give you 80% of the food that you need to have success on this program, but I have lost an enormous amount of weight, and I am not there yet. I'm going to keep going.
I am back to my high school weight, and with this being a busy time of year for us, seemingly every person that comes up to me, the first thing they say is, "You look different." And I'm still not used to the fact that they're talking about my weight. Convenience is what got me in this situation. Fast food was always more convenient, but PhD takes all that away because their food is convenient, but it's good for you. I'm sleeping better, and I feel better than I felt in years.
If you, too, want to take some of the focus off of your other features and people go, wow, you look great, go to myphdweightloss.com. That's myphdweightloss.com.
Hey, this is Josh Howard with TP Howard's Plumbing. There's nothing worse than a sewer emergency. We need sewer technicians to help with our sewer emergencies. Call TP Howard's Plumbing to apply today at 628-1369. That's 628-1369.
Taco Bell presents a get-out-of-bedtime story. It's time to wake up from this amazing dream, even though you're jet skiing on lemonade. How extreme! And oh, look at that, you just won the lottery. Is that a castle? Take the keys, it's your property. What's better than swimming in space? Just wait for the big reveal. It's Taco Bell breakfast and it's actually real. So it's time to wake up and bid your dreams farewell. Because toasted breakfast burritos are waiting for you, only at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell locations near you during breakfast hours only.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
Check it out, Limu, a roadside carnival.
Step right up, folks. Test your strength. Come see the fire-breathing baby.
Let's fan out and tell people that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Look, an emu wearing sunglasses.
Limu, you're famous. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
The Sportsocracy.
What are you people? On dope?
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We've got an emergency in Denver. Mile High Stadium is on fire right now. Just put out by the Denver Fire Department. Crews are extinguishing a fire in Mile High Stadium. Unknown cause at this time, but the fire has affected the suite area and the third level seating. The pictures are kind of crazy. Especially seeing as how there's nothing going on there. What could that be? Who knows? Anyway, Sweet 16 action tonight in college basketball, and the only my big hope for this next little section of the NCAA tournament is that the officials wake up.
Well, I mean, college basketball has had a problem with officiating for as long as I can remember. It's because there's too many teams. You don't pay these guys enough, so you wind up with a few really good crews, and then you wind up with a crew like Carolina and Baylor had, of which the fact that they will be officiating games this weekend it makes my head hurt.
They will be. Not as a complete crew. They've been split up again. At least one of those referees I was reading earlier today will be in Philadelphia with the Tar Heels.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. So we get to look forward to that. Still, that flagrant 2 against Brady Manick has got to be one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
Top 5 worst calls I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. And then it was the Illinois game, the swinging on the rim call, the technical foul
that
for
one
holding.
Was pretty bad. I thought Brad Underwood was going to lose his mind.
I'm surprised.
And he very well should have.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's just no excuse for it, especially late in a ball game like that, to make that kind of a call when it just comes down to a judgment call.
I hate that that's a rule anyway.
Mm-hmm. No swinging on the rim.
I cannot stand that call, and I never have. I do not understand why that's still a thing.
So it's to keep guys from, showboating.
And who cares? Who cares? Especially
old
in
guys.
college basketball, which at times turns into, hey, can anybody hit a shot? A little excitement on a dunk, I'm fine with that.
Right.
Please do away with that. Because that poor kid was just trying to not fall on somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was also trying to keep his momentum from taking him into the stanchion.
He equated that to Paul George as soon as they asked him that in the postgame. I didn't want that to happen.
Exactly. But there you go. It's a technical foul at the end of the game in what would have been a 6-point game. And then Illinois goes home.
Mm-hmm. Of which they should have 2 nights before. So
you're right. They should have. UTC was so close.
I had them in the money line.
So close.
I haven't had a chance to complain about that yet because UNCA preempted us on Monday, and that was the first time we had been. Oh, I'm still bitter about that.
So take us through your process. How many remotes were thrown?
Oh, I didn't throw anything. I grew out of that a long time ago.
Oh, okay, good.
There were a copious number of obscenities said. Over-under on that was 17.5, and I think I hit the over with 2 minutes to go.
All right, tonight's 7 o'clock games again. Gonzaga and Arkansas and Michigan and Villanova. You got Texas Tech and Duke and Houston and Arizona in that 9 o'clock window. 9:39 for the first one and then 9:59 for the next one, which means I will, again, not be able to see a second half of the Arizona game.
Oh,
I just can't do it. I'm too
old.
old. I'm too old. I can't stay up past
I'm
halftime.
a night owl, so I'll see it all. It's stupid.
And does St. Peter's have anything left?
Do they have anything? Yes, they have something left. This is usually where these stories go to die.
Mm-hmm.
That was cute in the first weekend, and now we know you're coming, and now you have to figure out how to stop Jaden Ivey.
Right.
I don't like your chances.
Right.
Oh, and your coach will literally be out the door the second you get beat for the major job that he has probably wanted his entire life.
Oh, the Seton Hall job. That's right. And and he went there? Was that it?
Yes, he went there.
He went there and coached there, I believe. Mm-hmm. What's his name? Shaheen Holloway? Yeah.
He played there.
Yeah. And now with the Seton Hall coach gone to greener pastures, then, yeah, St. Peter's probably will lose their coach. But that's what this game is all about. You find you find those diamonds in the rough in the NCAA tournament. That's what makes it great to me, is having all of these. This is where the transfer portal and all these older players on these, I call them lesser teams, at times. This is what makes it exciting. You've got all of these younger teams, the big Power 5 teams that are just loaded with young one-and-done kind of talent. And then they go up against these veteran-laden teams that can just snake them at any moment. Enjoy the basketball tonight. Be sure to stay tuned on the YouTube stream as we wrap it up here. We're going to have more of our post-free agency 7-round mock drafts coming out after the show today. We'll see you back here on ESPN Asheville at 3 tomorrow afternoon.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Clear tonight, winds will diminish and the overnight low will dip down to 37. Clouds will spread in through Friday afternoon and there will be a slight chance for a shower popping up with a high of 56. Still the chance for rain on Friday night with a low of 37. And then a clearing trend will take place into the afternoon on Saturday with gusty winds and cooler air settling in. The high should hit 50 degrees, mostly sunny to wrap up the weekend on Sunday with a high once again in the low 50s. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's Breakfast. The #1 pick is in. Wendy's Breakfast, the official breakfast of March Madness. Choose your starting lineup, like the Breakfast Baconator or Honey Butter Chicken Biscuit, and enjoy